Over the past few decades, China has transformed into a global infrastructure powerhouse, building structures that once seemed impossible. Among these achievements, China's megabridges stand out as engineering marvels that have captured worldwide attention, even impressing the President of the United States. These aren't just bridges. They're declarations of what modern engineering can achieve, from highways that climb into the clouds to bridges that disappear into the mist. China has redefined what's possible in infrastructure. Let's explore 8 of the most impressive Chinese megabridges that push the boundaries of engineering. Building a highway that climbs 2,600 meters into the clouds sounds impossible, but China made it happen. The Yaqi Highway, nicknamed the Highway to Heaven, isn't just a road. It's an epic conquest of some of Earth's most challenging terrain. This mega highway stretches through massive mountains, powerful rivers, and steep landscapes, rising from 600 meters to 3,200 meters above sea level. That's an average elevation gain of more than 7 meters per kilometer. The route required countless bridges, tunnels, and viaducts that literally carved through mountains. Gangazi Bridge. This 1,800-meter structure sits at 2,500 meters and looks like a giant roller coaster draped across the mountains. It's the world's first interlaced reinforced concrete beam bridge. Baiponiang Bridge, known as the world's highest bridge. It stands 565 meters from ground to its highest point, like a skyscraper laid sideways across a valley. This highway proves that when China decides to connect 2 points, no mountain, valley, or abyss can stand in the way. $20 billion and nearly a decade of construction for a single project. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is simply monumental. At 55 kilometers long, it connects 3 regions through a system of bridges and underwater tunnels, making it one of the most expensive projects in Chinese history. Travel time between Hong Kong and Macau dropped from 3 hours to just 30 minutes. The structure is divided into 3 sections: a main bridge over the open sea, an underwater tunnel, and connecting bridges. Why such complexity? Because Chinese engineers thought of everything: typhoons, tsunamis, earthquakes, and even impacts from ships weighing up to 300,000 tons. This bridge isn't just engineering, it's a declaration of intent. China proved it can connect what seemed impossible to connect, creating a highway over the sea that withstands nature's most destructive forces. Building a bridge that literally disappears into the clouds wasn't just a technical challenge, it was almost impossible. The Celestial Bridge is a masterpiece, spanning more than 2,100 meters over a deep valley. The bridge features 3 enormous towers, with the largest standing 330 meters high, 30 meters taller than the Eiffel Tower. The multitude of stay cables creates a stunning visual spectacle extending to the horizon. The nickname isn't coincidental. Due to its extraordinary height, clouds frequently engulf the bridge, creating the illusion that it disappears into the sky. Imagine driving on a bridge that literally gets lost in the clouds. It's like driving toward heaven itself. This investment completely transformed the region, dramatically improving traffic efficiency and reducing poverty in neighboring provinces by connecting previously isolated areas. Supported by a single 150-meter tower and floating 300 meters above an abyss, the Lijiang Bridge appears to levitate over a mountainous canyon. This colossus of steel and concrete literally seems to float in midair. How do they achieve this? An enormous 150-meter tower holds the entire roadway through steel cables, with only 2 support points at the valley's extremes. The bridge literally cuts through the mountain with tunnels, creating a connection that drastically reduces travel time. Would you dare drive on a road that floats in the air? China proved that no natural obstacle can stop them from connecting communities. Chongqing-Chengdu Interchange. An interchange with 5 levels and 20 different routes sounds like a traffic nightmare. The Chongqing Interchange is the most complex overpass you'll ever see. This monstrous structure took 8 years to build and features 5 levels, 20 different routes, and 3 highways crossing through it. Despite its apparent complexity, authorities insist that navigating it is quite simple, provided you can read Chinese signage. Otherwise, you could spend all day going in circles. It's like a giant 3-dimensional puzzle where each piece is a road. Imagine using GPS here. It would probably go crazy trying to calculate your route. China turned a road interchange into modern art that defies conventional logic. Building a railway bridge through constant sandstorms? Many considered it impossible, but China did it anyway. The Desert Bridge is part of the Hotan Railway, a monumental work featuring 5 elevated bridges over 434 prefabricated pillars covering almost 50 kilometers of impassable desert. Chinese engineers didn't stop at building the bridge. To combat devastating sandstorms that could bury the tracks, they planted 13 million plants around the structure, creating a natural barrier against the elements. They turned the desert into a railway garden. The 825-kilometer route now forms part of a circular system of more than 2,700 kilometers that completely surrounds the desert, allowing trains to travel at speeds up to 120 kilometers per hour. Can you imagine seeing a high-speed train emerging like a mirage in the middle of the desert? China made it reality. A 3-story highway that winds over a mountain, following the shape of a giant dragon. The Dragon Bridge is a masterpiece of engineering creativity. This spectacular highway winds over the mountain with a 350-meter elevation change. Here's what's truly impressive. Chinese engineers completed this architectural marvel in just 1 year. They began in March 2018 and opened it in May 2019. To put that in perspective, some cities take longer to repair a pothole than it took China to build a 3-story bridge over a mountain. The design follows the shape of a giant dragon lying on the mountain, connecting lowlands with high-altitude regions, a much more economical solution than drilling tunnels through the entire mountain range. Driving on this structure is literally like riding on the back of a steel dragon. Combining a functional bridge with a giant 120-meter Ferris wheel seemed crazy, but in Tianjin, you'll find something completely unique in the world. A bridge that's also a giant Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel bridge isn't famous for conventional architecture, but for being the base of the Tianjin Eye, an imposing 120-meter Ferris wheel. This structure combines functionality and innovation in an extraordinary way. The Ferris wheel transports up to 768 passengers per hour in its 48 cabins, completing 1 rotation every 30 minutes. Meanwhile, traffic flows normally over the bridge below. Construction was completed in 2007, but the Ferris wheel didn't open until 2008. Chinese engineers conducted exhaustive safety tests to ensure the wheel wouldn't roll away. Imagine that headline: "Giant Ferris wheel rolls through Tianjin streets." Each night, the bridge transforms into a neon light show, reflecting in the high river, creating a magical image that attracts tourists and locals alike. It's the perfect fusion of practical infrastructure and urban entertainment. Who else but China would think to combine a bridge with a giant Ferris wheel? We've explored 8 engineering marvels that demonstrate why China has become the undisputed world power in infrastructure. From bridges that look like roller coasters to highways that touch the clouds, each structure defies what we thought possible. These mega bridges represent more than just transportation infrastructure. They're symbols of ambition, innovation, and the refusal to accept that something is impossible. When China decides to connect 2 points, mountains get carved, deserts get tamed, and clouds become just another obstacle to overcome. The question isn't just whether these bridges are impressive, it's what they tell us about the future of infrastructure worldwide. As climate change makes geography more challenging, and cities grow more congested, the engineering solutions developed in China today might become the standard tomorrow. Which of these mega bridges impressed you most? Would you dare to drive on any of them?